This is a public service announcement for anyone who may be offended by the contents of this episode, because I will offend you. This show is not about me. This show is all about you. This is Mahdi unfiltered. Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. Where my hood at? Now, that's from DMX. Some people won't even understand that. The point that I'm getting at right now is when people move into our neighborhood, our country, our region, there needs to be some type of equality that is given to these people who leave their homes, leave their lives to become an immigrant in another country and hopefully work to make a better living. And one thing that COVID has taught me over the last, 18 months or however long it's been at this point, is some people can be really good and really nice, but other people can be really shitty and really mean. Sometimes governments can be really nice, and sometimes they can be really shitty and really mean to people of a different ethnicity, of a different color, whatever it may be. And I can say that. I mean, I'm sitting here as a privileged white guy or privileged whatever you want to call me, and I have no idea what it feels like to be in that situation. I will say I have been othered before after 9/11 because of, my Arab name and my Arab roots. But it's nowhere near to what I've seen in the last 10 years, globally at that, especially in the region where I live. Racism is a hot topic that no one can talk about, especially if you are of a different race or a different ethnicity. And it's sad. It's really sad that if you do open your mouth or you talk, there are repercussions for what you might say upon you and upon your family ultimately, because if you're expedited or sent off or whatever, then your family loses too, because you can't generate that income, to help them out. And with COVID, we've seen a lot of countries giving the vaccines to their own first, so to speak, which I understand. It's just like, we will take care of our own family before we take care of others. Okay, I understand that. But if your own is being affected at the same time and infected, then there are precautions that you need to take with the guests that you are allowing in your country. You don't come out with crazy rules of, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go into certain shopping malls, or you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to this, you can't go to that, just because you're not vaccinated. And it's not really your fault you're not vaccinated, because you've been registered for 9 months. It's the people who are putting these rules in place that aren't giving a shit about anyone else but themselves. And here's a little thought. Maybe if you gave a shit about everybody, everyone would be okay with this. If everyone got the medicine, no one would get sick. That's the reality of it. If more people had the vaccine and it was being rolled out to the people that were waiting for 8 or 9 months, who registered before the locals did, maybe the cases would be a little bit better. And I'm not using one country as a prime example, I guess. But I'm sure you know the countries that I am talking about, because there are several of them. And some of these countries, it's sad, because right now you're seeing a lot of non-nationals leave and go back to their own countries or go seek opportunity in different places. I alone have had about 3 or 4 friends who have been here for a long time where I live, and they are all leaving because they just don't feel safe anymore. They don't feel safe with the rules that are put in place. They don't feel safe with the laws that are put in place that sometimes act against them and against their belief system, which I think is really wrong. There's equality that is preached in almost every religion, but yet every nation is unequal to those who come from outside. But on the other hand, if you are from a higher status country in the West, then you are all of a sudden put on a pedestal and fed everything with a golden spoon. And you're the first to get vaccinated, which makes no goddamn sense at all, because you're handicapping a lot of people. And if you have a bunch of these assholes that are anti-vaxxers, then don't give them the vaccines. Don't give them anything. I think at the end of the day, expats or immigrants to countries need to be treated with a certain level of respect and compassion for leaving their families, leaving their loved ones to get a job in your country, doing shit that you can't do or don't want to do. Like, you got to give them that respect at least. So when you come out and you say, hey buddy, you're not vaccinated, you can't go to the shopping mall. Well, he can't say anything or she can't say anything because they signed up 8 months ago. All they want to say is, hey, I signed up 9 months ago. You're the one who's putting these restrictions on me for your mistakes, for your shortcomings in the process, which is absolutely wrong. What I like about some countries that have practiced this, whether you were an immigrant or you were a local or whatever, it went strictly by age and ailments. There was no black or white or yellow or brown. It was age, name, ailment. That was it. They wanted to get everybody taken care of from each group so that no one would get sick. And look at them now. Holy shit, look at what some of these countries have done. They're out like COVID never existed before. And I'll tell you another thing too. When it comes to expats or people of other nations coming to your country and working, and you're not giving them the opportunities, or you're taking away from them and taking away privileges that they should get or they should earn over time, that's just shitty. Like, when did people become so racist that they look at a name and then a nationality and then base their salary on the nationality and not on their qualifications? Is that just because you're a shitty HR person and you don't know how to fucking interview people? Because if you interview someone, you will know how good or how bad they are. It should not be only based on the color of their skin or their ethnicity or where they're from. I don't know. Maybe you should look at the CEO of PepsiCo, a female Indian, what she is doing. Now, are you going to tell me that the CEO of PepsiCo is not of higher stature because of whatever? No. The CEO of PepsiCo worked their ass off. They got there. And you know what? They were an immigrant in a country that gave them the opportunity. Yes, I know what everybody's going to say. They probably faced racism. Yeah, they probably did. They probably faced issues being a woman too, with glass ceilings and everything else. But at the end of the day, she made it further than a lot of people in this region are making it. And I know that for a fact because I've been on those committees to hire before in previous companies. And, over the span of 20 years, I've interviewed a lot of people. And when I saw the salary offers that were made to different nationalities, I laughed. Because we're not even talking about a 10% or a 15 or a 20%. We're talking about a 50 to a 75% difference in pay just because someone came from a different country. And the argument always is, well, they wouldn't earn this much in their country. Yeah, they wouldn't earn that much in their country, but you know what? They're coming to your country to earn more, not to have this prejudice wall set up because they're from a different country and you're saying they don't need to earn as much, but you're going to give the other guy 70% more? That just makes absolutely no sense. If this dude can do the job better and you're giving him the job, he should earn the same exact salary so that he could send that money to his family and he can actually live in a country that has, a high cost of living. Did you ever think of that, genius? No, you didn't. Because it has been a practice for so long in different countries to treat people in an unequal way, which is so screwed up. Because again, I have lost several friends due to travel because of the inequalities in pay and the inequalities of the packages that they offer for based on the country they are from. And these were good people. They were hard workers and they were really smart. And you lost what they could contribute to your society because of stupid decisions from a corporate level where if you had any inkling of an understanding of what human capital was, then you'd probably be a lot better off and your company would be run a lot better. And that goes for countries also. Look at Dubai as an example. Everyone who listens to this show, we have a lot of international listeners. I'm not saying anything, but from what I saw going there is you can literally go there and make something happen for yourself and earn a living. There are a lot of people from different nationalities, different backgrounds who have made it to the top, so to speak. And it's because they were given that opportunity. They were given that equality to some extent. And I'm not saying racism doesn't exist and prejudice. It does. It exists everywhere. But the point that I'm trying to get at is right now in COVID especially, you don't want to lose people that are valuable to your society, that have a great contribution. Like there are 3 guys that I know that have left where I live, and they contributed to the youth. They were coaches, real coaches, not trainers in a gym. They were real coaches that donated their goddamn time to the community to see a better community. And they're gone. They're gone forever. They're never coming back. Because why? Because they were treated unequally with disrespect, even though they followed all the rules and all the guidelines. And it goes right into when certain areas were closed down in different countries because they said, oh, COVID. Well, you closed the poorest areas, but the problem was coming from the richest areas. So why would you close them down and lock them down? Like, you know, you're losing welders, you're losing masons, you're losing tradesmen that you need to build homes and buildings, right? Because in some of these societies, ain't anyone banging a nail, I'll tell you that right now. They're not going to act as a laborer and carry trash. But those were the guys that did those jobs. They were the plumbers that fixed things. They were the electricians that wired the electricity to your house. And they're gone. And you're replacing them with the leftover laborers who are probably people who lost their jobs and are just saying, yeah, I can be an electrician. And they have absolutely no clue what they're doing. You can't blame them to an extent because they need to make money. They need to live. They need to eat. And all this is just causing more and more issues of inequality in our society and our societies around us. And it just really sucks. It really, really sucks to see that happen. It sucks that I'm losing friends. It sucks that you're losing friends. It sucks that you're losing your job. It sucks that you're losing your life and you have to pick up and move halfway around the world to seek better opportunity. And you're scared shitless. You don't know what the hell's going to happen because someone made a little scribble with a pen and say, yep, this is what we're doing. And it affected you to the point where you can't even go in to a public place to do your job because you're of a different nationality that wasn't selected to receive a medicine, even though you signed up probably way before some of the other people. And again, I come to this from a point of privilege. I was lucky enough to get my 2 jabs. And it's one of those things where you look at and it's such a double-edged sword and it's just a shitty situation to be in because if there was a way I could help people, I would. And I'm sure if there was a way that you could help people, there would be. And the only way that you can, as a listener, help some of these people from different nationalities is be an advocate for them. Be an advocate for what they stand for. Be an advocate for their equal rights in the society that you live in. Be an advocate for the important jobs that they do. Because God knows they can't speak up. You're the only one that can speak for them. And that's the important thing. Doesn't matter what country you're in, what state, city, wherever it is. Remember this, that you can be a voice for someone that does not have a voice or could face repercussions for speaking up, which is even worse. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Thank You and join us next time.